Yeah, why throw away this sugar? It goes just fine with this other sugar.
We'll just call it mystery.
Yeah. What is it? I don't know.
I thought that was crazy. I had no idea that that's what they did.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're learning interesting things here on the candy episode.
What's that for? Gives it a little kick.
Welcome to the iKnowBadeaux Podcast.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the iKnowBadeaux Podcast, coming at you from the Slice on Oak Studios. I am Mayor Dave Badeaux, and with me, as always, is my brother.
Take 10% off your order with code Come On In.
I'm enjoying it.
Well, did he come or what?
All right, with me, as always, as well, over there, Mr. Gabriel Johnson, the councilman.
Dave, I'm a little confused.
Okay.
What the hell is a potato head?
yeah, we had a comment. Do you think it was you or was it me?
I think it was
I
me.
think it was him.
Okay.
He was the one talking.
Yeah.
I was going off on how stupid the government is.
Yes.
And somebody said, who let this potato head go off on his rant?
Yes. And not only that, it said, why are you pushing this potato head?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What's a potato head?
I don't know, but I'm glad it was you and not me. All right. Anyways, moving on from that potato head to another potato head.
Hey.
Now I understand it from this standpoint. Welcome back to the podcast, Mr. Bill Satre.
Thank you very much.
Oh, as always, Bill, you got 30 seconds to explain yourself. Go.
37 years. I've been doing radio for 37 years, and for 37 years, they never let me say fuck on the radio. It's taken me how many times coming back here on this podcast to finally get comfortable enough that I could throw one fuck into a microphone.
Okay, well, technically, I bleep the fuck, but you should be able to know. The problem is when we start stacking the fucks and the shits. So right there, nobody has any idea. Anyways, now that the YouTube algorithm has disenfranchised us from being pushed, welcome, Bill.
Thank you. Did we blow up something? Did I break something that I shouldn't have broken?
No,
Good,
no. I will
good.
say, though, it is a hell of a lot more work when someone does say fuck for me when I go edit this.
And
So,
yet he continued. He said it as many times as I have now.
And he added it.
Hey, everybody, this is my podcast.
It certainly does suck.
So we have decided once again to do draft day. Candy edition.
Dun, dun, dun.
So this is the first time we've actually done a draft day with more than just the core three. So that will change things up a little bit. It'll make this a little bit more difficult. But for those of you that are not aware, how draft day works is that we take a category, in this case, candy. We select 12 items within that category, and each of us must select, in this case, 2 items from that list of 12. And then we can select one item that is not on that list to throw in some little curveballs. Obviously, there are 4 of us, so there are 12 items to select. Each of us may go off the board one time, but we must select 2 from the board. Pretty simplistic. For candy, I would have thought that this would be very easy to come up with categories for candy.
A lot of overlap.
A lot of overlap in the candy world. Turns out, sugar, potentially chocolate, a lot of milk. I was surprised at how much milk is involved.
A little bit of nut.
A little bit of nut, not a lot more. A lot of citric acid in these. But these are the 12 categories, I guess you would say, within the candy category. We will start with chocolate bars, Mike and Ike's / Skittles, hard candy, gummies, suckers, M&Ms, Starburst / taffy, gum, packaged sugar, nougat, Reese's, and then the final one, Twizzlers / Redvines. And so now just to go in and give a little bit of nuance to each of the categories, chocolate bars, that is everything that includes also Kisses and your Rolos of the world, but does not include nougat, because nougat is its own thing. And of course, there are 1,000 variations of the nougat candy bar. but also some fun little nougat treats that are not specifically a candy bar as well. The Mike and Ike's and Skittles, that essentially is your jelly bean category. I would not have considered Mike and Ike's a jelly bean until I watched how they're made. So that was kind of interesting.
Harder outer shell,
Yeah,
soft and
aged.
chewy,
Yeah.
aged appropriately.
Aged appropriately. Skittles is pretty much the exact same thing, honestly, if you're looking at how they're made. Hard candies, that would include your, I would say, even if you want to go down to a cert,
Jolly Ranchers.
your
you mean.
Jolly Ranchers.
The Werthers.
And the Werthers would be the two big ones.
Lifesavers.
Lifesavers, yep. Gummies will include your Sour Patch Kids, your octopuses, but your gummy bears, gummy worms, obviously. Suckers, specifically Blow Pops and Tootsie Pops, high on the list, but that's any sucker. Basically anything with a stick. M&Ms, self-explanatory. Same with Starburst or Taffy, pretty self-explanatory. I think the most interesting category is the gum category. I think that'll be a fun one. And then packaged sugar. I think that one deserves a little bit of an explanation.
I think that one needs a little bit more of an
They
explanation.
all are.
Packaged sugar is essentially, it is your Pixie Sticks or your Lick-a-Sticks. However, we also decided that your Runts, Sweet Tarts, any of that, your Nerds, any of the things that are just citric acid and sugar
Just
compressed.
compressed sugar
Yeah.
that when you bite into it, it just turns back into powder.
Yeah, I mean, technically, you could do that with a Pixie Stick. You could just compress it yourself and make yourself a Smartie, I guess. But that is its own category. And then, of course, nougat, Reese's is pretty self-explanatory. And then Twizzlers / Redvines deserved its own category because it is, I would argue, its own thing.
Licorice.
Yeah, licorice. So any questions before we get started?
No.
No questions. Okay.
No, we'll figure it out.
So we drew straws before we got started. I am the winner. I get to go first.
But
which
are you?
Puts me at a disadvantage, though, because
I am the winner.
Disadvantage.
Right out of the gate.
well, first of all, I would say that there are so many good options that I want to select. But I am going to. Oh man, I wasn't prepared for the first overall pick. Because I wouldn't have done what I think I'm going to do here. But now I have to.
Okay. I would not have done what I'm about to do unless given the opportunity to do
that
that.
very thing.
The correct answer, if you're going first, is Reese's.
Yeah.
So I will select with my first overall pick the Reese's. Now, one of the things we did say is that we get a little specific as well. I am a fan of the Reese's egg specifically. Reese's Christmas tree also up there, but the Reese's egg is the original OG variant. The chocolate to peanut butter ratio in those variants is the correct chocolate to peanut butter ratio in my eyes.
Like 4 times the peanut butter. to
Yeah.
Yes.
The chocolate.
White or milk?
Never white.
Always white.
Always white, you say. Never white.
I've got an addiction to sugar.
Well, so you and I went to a candy shop here in town. We had a little meet and greet at the local candy shop. And she went through and showed how all that stuff is made. And that's the big difference between white chocolate and regular chocolate is white chocolate isn't really chocolate.
It's just sugar.
It's sugar and cocoa butter.
Cocoa butter.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, what's cocoa?
Well, yes. However, you're missing the part that makes it chocolate, I would argue. So anyways, Reese's is off the board. Again, my favorite. Quick, real fast, your favorite Reese's variety.
Oh, I like the original peanut butter cups.
Okay.
Always
Okay.
been that.
You like that extra little.
that extra little chocolate to
Okay.
it, and a little more of the sugar to the peanut butter.
Okay,
But
okay.
you know what? I love peanut butter cups.
Oh God, they're amazing.
And if you don't like peanut butter cups, you're just
Yeah.
wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
I prefer the littler ones.
Yep.
The
miniature?
The minis?
not the like mini
Not the
mini
mini
ones.
minis?
Not the
No,
mini
not
ones.
these ones.
The ones that are a little bit bigger than that.
The
You
ones
get
you
like
can bake into a peanut butter cookie.
Yeah.
Sure.
But there's way more chocolate than peanut butter to those.
Absolutely.
The smaller that they
Yes.
get, the more chocolate peanut butter ratio.
Yep. Absolutely.
Right. I like the ratio in the ones that you get in like a Christmas. You get in your stocking.
Okay. Somewhere in between with the chocolate. I would say because there's less of a ridge to that than there is on the originals. Okay. And Gabe, what about you?
You were correct with the Easter egg, the correct ratios. I like the white chocolate. One year for Easter, my daughter got me like the giant Easter egg.
Oh, yeah.
And I tried it, but there's just not enough chocolate.
No.
You're just eating peanut butter.
We'll argue. What I didn't like was there was parts of it that were too much chocolate.
The edges,
I basically scraped off the peanut butter and ate that separate, and then ate the chocolate myself because I as well have had the giant. I will say that it is
The fattest thing you've ever done.
no, you'd think, but it's not. It is not.
You'd think.
Sadly, no. Reason I say this is not what I would do. If you were to ask me what my favorite candy bar is, I would not say Reese's. I would say 15 years ago, yes. Now I've kind of shifted away from Reese's, but in a draft of candy, I'm going Reese's first. So, all right, over to Bill, the second item off of the board. Bill, what are you choosing?
Twizzlers.
Wow, that is a curve ball.
Didn't see that one coming, did you? Wow. Every road trip that we've ever taken consists of my wife and I grabbing a big bag of Twizzlers and a beverage of choice and hitting the road. And when I quit smoking, Twizzlers is what I had to have, especially in the car. I had to have them in the car. Had to have them. But they became a part of our regular road trip fare. Every trip, every time.
It's a crazy decision, but I love it because I'm right there with you. Those are like part of it is that you can get a giant package.
Oh yeah,
and just keep chewing on them.
yeah,
just going
until your stomach, decides that you've had enough sulfur and it's enough of that.
My son Maverick, every baseball game, will throw 2 huge packages at the dugout, and he'll bring them in there, and the kids eat them. And so I'm constantly buying Twizzlers.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Thoughts on the Twizzler as a second option?
They're good. They are not number 2 good.
Well, you got to remember though, his next pick is so far away now. So
Yeah, and they would have been there.
I say it's a good pick. Twizzler is an all-time great. With our hockey road trips, we don't get the Twizzler vines. We go with the nibs. We'll buy a bag of nibs, a bag of beef jerky.
But they all stick together, and I like the big old
Yeah, a whole mass of them.
So that brings up a great point. Nibs, I'm gonna say cherry is the better variant of that product.
Yeah.
The strawberry is okay. The cherry is the better variant. Redvines or Twizzlers? We're gonna just start a fight on the internet right now. Redvines or Twizzlers?
I don't know the difference.
What?
Vines are just vines. There's no twist.
There's just a string, a little round string of one. No, it has to be the Twizzlers. It has that little hole in the center that you
use as a straw.
You use as a straw, especially when you're driving down the road.
With your beverage of choice.
Yeah. Okay. Fun fact.
Careful with that.
I know.
Since we're talking about Redvines, let's bring up the movie Wayne's World right now. Obviously, in the Merv-mobile, they've got the Redvines dispenser, which is pretty cool. Also, super lame because you'd be you'd be filling that thing so often. Like that's they act like it's just never ending. Like no, every time you got in the car, you'd be putting things up in your ceiling. I don't care what it is. You're going to be doing that.
Your beverage of choice could go up there.
Since we're talking about the movie Wayne's World, I had a cool little experience this weekend. I decided to watch the first Wayne's World again for whatever reason. I enjoyed that movie. And there was a moment in that movie that stuck out. So right now it is streaming on HBO. Okay. In that movie, there's the scene, Scott, you'll probably remember as a guitar player, the Stairway to Heaven joke, where he doesn't play the notes from Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
Okay. In the version that is on HBO, he plays the first notes of Stairway to Heaven.
Really?
I had to rewind it because I was like, what the hell just happened? So it turns out, and I was not aware of this, when the movie originally released in theaters, it had the notes from Stairway to Heaven. When it released on video, they didn't want to pay the licensing fee, so they changed it for the video version.
Oh, sure.
So I've only ever seen the version where it is the fake notes.
Oh, that's
Right.
very interesting.
And now, for whatever reason, HBO or whichever, maybe it's just this in general, but the version that is streamable right now on HBO is back to the original with the original notes.
HBO paid the licensing fees.
They probably own.
That's part of it. Yeah. It's like it is all about the licensing
Yeah.
fees. Absolutely.
Isn't that crazy though? Because I didn't know that. I thought that it had always been.
Mike Myers didn't know Stairway.
yeah, I mean, it makes sense because
Yeah.
drives me nuts.
Yeah.
that part of the movie. Because he just plays 3 completely random notes, and the guy's like, "Hey, no stairway." I'm like, "That wasn't stairway. It wasn't even close."
Yeah, and it sticks out so much that as I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, here's the lame stairway joke," and then I was like,
Wait a
what
minute.
just happened? What just happened?"
I mean, do you really need a license to play just 3 notes?
So I didn't think so, but evidently they.
But I guess if you
you're-
specifically say that this is that, and then
That's
start
just
it.
right.
It's pretty obvious at that point that what you were playing.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah. Because I was in the same boat. I thought you had to play like 6 or 7 notes, like there was a specific number of notes.
I think it's 8 or 9.
I thought that was the case.
Because I think
However-
it's like one measure, one full measure.
Yep.
I'm not positive about that.
From what I've read now, they were told specifically, we will sue your pants off for doing that joke. And then.
But that's how Vanilla Ice got away with it.
Did he?
Well, he changed it. It was
No.
just a small
He
change.
did because he did like
Duh.
7. He did like 7 beats.
Yeah.
And one goes up.
And then at the end, he had to.
But David Bowie still has writing credit on it.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, anyways.
Hey. No stairway. Denied.
Sorry to completely derail, but that happened this weekend. I've been waiting for us to talk about Twizzlers. I didn't know we were going to talk about it right away.
Get right to it.
Scott, get us back on track.
I'm going to have to go with nougat. Snickers, in particular, is all-time great candy.
It's a good choice. It's a very good choice.
It's a fucking meal.
Yeah.
Hungry? Why wait?
Yeah, those things will fill you up.
What are some examples of nougats?
Okay. Oh, all across the board.
Snickers, Three Musketeers, Milky Way.
Okay.
I
Baby
think
Ruth.
Yep.
yeah, Baby Ruth.
10 grand?
What is even in those? I don't.
10
even
grand,
know.
no, is
I think
caramel.
that's more of a chocolate
That's
bar.
caramel.
Yep,
and, yeah.
it's just
okay.
caramel.
You dumb bastard.
So there's still hope for that.
But there are nougat versions of Reese's as well. They're not as good.
Nougat's anything with nuts mixed into a cream type.
Oh, okay.
Well, nougat's like it's like a marshmallow,
It's
Kinda.
it's a thicker marshmallow.
which is why
Like
I think
nut
we kind of
goodies
we decided to include like the salted nut roll.
The salted, that is nougat. Salted nut
and
roll
then-
would
or-
be.
Yeah.
or like Toblerone, which is not. Or would we put that in there?
I don't know if we would or not. I don't think so. But
Let's not, so Bill can pick it
Okay.
as is off the board
Okay.
later.
Right. Yeah. Don't take all my good stuff.
I almost took nougat as the first overall because of the salted nut roll and Snickers. Like, just what a combo. I will say this though, not a Baby Ruth fan. I always
Really?
think I want a Baby Ruth because I love me peanuts. I
till
love
you
peanuts
have
and
one,
chocolate. And then I have one, and every time I'm like, I don't
Where's
really-
the caramel?
yeah.
I like Baby Ruth. I do not like Three Musketeers.
No, Three Musketeers. It's just straight nougats.
Weak candy. Although the Mars bar, where you add a little caramel on top of that, now you're back in gear.
Yeah, well, now you're a Milky Way.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I'm pretty sure it's the same. I may be wrong. But
I
yeah,
doubt it.
Fantastic selection. Also,
Should have been the second pick.
impossible to spell. No one has ever spelled nougat correctly. Okay, Gabe, number 3 and number 4.
Okay, well, number 4 and 5. Number 4,
excuse me.
I'm taking gum off the board.
What is going on?
No, it's the right choice, Gabe. I
No,
love
it's
it.
not.
Specifically,
You're gonna pick like Fruit Stripe.
No.
Big League Chew.
Yep. It was the right decision.
They still package it and market it as Big League Chew.
Really?
In 2024.
That really surprises me.
as a kid
I
growing
owe,
up-
I owe somebody $20.
As a kid growing up at the ball fields, you always like to just throw a big chunk of Big League Chew in, be like Kent Herbeck or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And they still have it there, and the kids are still doing it. And I don't know why
Are they sold right next to the candy cigarettes
Oh, yeah.
too? I mean,
they don't have the candy cigarettes.
Do they have like
What?
the beef jerky? dip
Yes, that
stuff?
still
Yep,
exists.
they still have
love
that
that
snooze.
stuff.
Yep.
yeah, that's
I will argue that is way more weird to me than the Big League Chew. The Big League Chew people are just like, it's just shredded gum.
But it
It's
shows
gum.
a baseball player
It
with
does.
the big one.
The big wad. I believe it's a product of Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
I
maybe
believe-
that's why it still exists. The national people haven't
No.
scolded
They
us
haven't
enough yet.
discovered it yet. It's hiding in Minnesota. They'll never notice.
I believe
too cold.
I believe it was like Nerf. It was a player from Minnesota. If I'm not mistaken, I could be incorrect. Gabe, I love it because because you brought up gum, you said gum, and I was like, that's a little lame. And then I thought about all the types of gum. It is the most versatile and fun category, I think. There are so many options.
It's pleasing from little children all the way to senior citizens. There is a gum for you.
We have to have a moment of silence for the fruit stripe gum that is being taken off the market.
Is
this
it
year.
really?
Is it
Yeah.
really?
Oh, yeah. It's being discontinued.
Oh, it turns out it ran out of flavor.
Yeah, they did.
2 minutes in.
If it were actually like the gum, it would have run out in
Yeah.
5 minutes, but that's okay.
It's crazy to me that Big League Chew still exists, but it's delicious. And there's just so many crazy little options you can do with gum. I think it's great. It's bizarre to me that it includes tire rubber. Like that is the ingredient.
That's
that
one of
makes
the
it-
ingredients?
Yeah, it is the same rubber that they use in tires.
Oh, to make it chewy?
To make it chewy.
Well, it
Yeah,
works.
well,
And delicious.
nothing quite like chewing on that and then getting a big old piece of your cheek in there. And then,
Oh, no.
I did that last night.
it's terrible because then it gets swollen and then you just keep
You just keep
injuring
biting
it over and over again.
Just chewing gum, smoking a cigarette, eating my cheek. Multitasking.
Yeah, it's better than eating someone else's cheek.
Whoa.
Speak for yourself.
Put ketchup on my asshole.
You owe me one.
As is, of course, the tradition.
Gabe, finish. Wrap it right back around.
Wrap it right back around. The obvious ones are gone.
Oh my God.
This is where it gets interesting because you won't pick again until the very end, and it will be your last pick.
Right. Maybe I should go off the board now.
Mine's not a bad idea.
I'm going to go on the board. I'm going packaged sugar. I'm going with Pixie Sticks.
This is a man who spends a lot of time at baseball fields.
I mean, the Pixie Stick, so versatile. Little
Okay.
plastic straw. You know, get your powder out of it. You can use the straw for whatever you want. You want to drink your beverage of choice?
For whatever you want. Whatever.
All the things that you're strawing.
It's so much
Sticks.
better than rolling up $100 bill.
Bill, stop. We just cleaned all the snow out of the studio.
Pixie Sticks off the board.
Wow. Okay.
What do you use the straw for when you're done?
Wait till my third pick.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Go with the Pixie Stick real quick and give me your favorite, like, hard version of the packed sugar.
I'm a simple man.
Okay.
I like the Smarties.
Okay.
Just a little rolled up package. Pop them in and good to go.
So I've
Oh,
got.
man, I just remembered the necklaces.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing.
And then you got the Valentine's Day hearts, which are basically another
Yeah,
version
Reese's
of
makes those too.
chalk.
Do they? In front of us here, I've got a bowl of candy. And you will not find a Smartie in here because my littlest children took all of the Smarties out and then hid them in their fort. And so I found, I would argue, a stockpile of Smarties all out of the wrapper, just in this pile, like it was gold doubloons. And so I will say,
Were they playing poker? Was it
I
the
don't
poker
know.
chips? Hello.
But I mean, you look in this bowl of candy, and it's been picked through, but you wouldn't think that little kids would go directly to the Smarties. So the Smarties are doing something right.
So you're not drafting Tootsie Pops.
I don't know. We're gonna find out. All right, back to Scott.
Skittles.
Skittles / Mike and Ike's.
Well, see you later.
The jelly beans are off the board.
Yeah, less the Mike and Ike's and jelly beans, but Skittles in particular. I mean, Mike and Ike's are great. Great, but Skittles are tier 1 candy.
There's something about jelly beans though too. You get all those different flavors and stuff. Some of them are
Hey,
just
taste of the rainbow, man.
disgusting.
Some are disgusting. There's a dye that sucks in some jelly beans because I know you didn't flip the sugar part. You got that right on every other
Yeah.
one. There are certain colors of jelly beans where there's like a weird tasting dye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
What
it
is
has
that
an
all
aftertaste that you just can't, you just can't get rid of.
He's wrapped in Skittles.
I know, but just take that out. Take that one out.
Yeah.
Imagine if one of the Skittles sucked. Like that's the thing with Skittles. There isn't a bad
Well,
Skittle.
it kind of does now because they changed the green one.
She's not hot anymore.
Oh no,
No, that's the M&Ms.
Oh,
No, the green Skittle used to be lemon, or I think lime,
It's apple
yeah.
now.
and now it's apple.
Oh,
that's a big change.
It's a big change.
Yeah, that's
But you don't notice when you're just eating them by the handful. So
That's a conversation to have in that different regions of the world have different flavors for their colors. And so in some regions, green is pear or plum or stuff, not plum, but pear, or a lot of cases, apple. We've been so conditioned that that's lime, so it's interesting.
Fun fact about the banana flavor.
oh,
Those bananas don't even exist anymore.
where'd you learn that?
I feel like we've done this.
I learned from you, Bill.
You don't say. I have a fun fact about Mike and Ike's.
Yeah.
They're gay.
Well, it could potentially.
Should have known.
Well, first of all, they don't know what it's named after. It's weird to me. I watched a bunch.
Mike and Ike.
I watched a bunch of candy, how that's made stuff, and I'm amazed at how many of these candy companies that are from the 1900s do not know why it's named what it's named.
Yeah.
I was amazed by that. So Mike and Ike, they're like, well, it could be this or it could be that. One of them was there was a vaudeville act, vaudeville act called Mike and Ike at the same time. They did a lot of that, like a lot of just stealing other people's things and making.
That's already popular. We'll name it that.
Yeah. But I will say that the Mike and Ike, the center of the Mike and Ike is not flavored. It is just simply a sugar concoction. And it is the same in all of the Mike and Ikes. All of the flavor is in the outside coating.
Huh.
There is no, there's
It's
a
like-
sugar
just like
flavor.
sugar gel.
It's like a sugar
I
gel.
think this is why Skittles needs its own category.
Because I'm just talking about Mike and Ike's.
And jelly beans.
I mean,
Nobody said a fucking word about Skittles.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
but I feel like M&Ms and Skittles are
Absolutely not.
more.
No.
Absolutely not.
That's what I said, just shape-wise at least. Scott
Yeah.
would not have it.
No, M&Ms and Skittles are not even close
They're
to the
not.
same fucking thing.
Oh yeah, put them in the same jar, and
just
you'll find out
because
quickly
they
that
look
how hard
alike
it is to figure
doesn't
out
mean
which
they're
is
even
which.
close to the same candy.
There's nothing worse than somebody
If you
putting.
hand somebody an M&M and tell them it's a Skittle, they're going to be fucking surprised.
and fairly upset.
All right. Well, Bill, bring us back on track.
Back
here.
to the M&Ms.
Okay.
Yeah. So M&Ms. The problem with M&Ms, and maybe it's me. Does anybody else separate your colors? Just you start finding yourself. I have more of these than those.
Depends on how much meth I've done that day.
It's an ADHD thing for me, but I'm hyper focusing on the color of the M&Ms. Next thing I know, I've got a little pile of red there, a little pile of green there, and it explains a lot. I understand that.
Yeah,
but,
I'm worried about you now.
but it is such a trigger.
Yeah.
The only
Therapy.
time. So I love all kinds of M&Ms. M&Ms is your selection, correct?
It is.
What we're
I
doing?
You're
just-
going with
yeah, I selected
original
M&Ms.
chocolate M&Ms,
Yeah,
or you
yeah.
don't peanut
Oh
M&Ms?
no, original chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, because this
The
is where
OG.
this is where I'm going to go with this. You picked the worst M&M,
Fine, that's fine.
and the only time I eat those is when
Peanut butters.
Halloween peanut butter is amazing. The peanut butter M&Ms are so fucking good. Peanut M&Ms are my favorite though, because they're just a standard. But the only time I eat regular M&Ms is when Halloween happens, and then your kids get those little
The
packages.
little packages, and you just dump the whole
So there you
thing
go.
in your mouth.
I haven't even seen an M&M in 30 years. I rip the package and dump them in my mouth.
I make it into a thing. I have to put them on the counter, and then I'm going through the.
I do that with Skittles.
Yeah, and then these two get married.
Well,
and-
the thing with Skittles too, though, is
You're marrying your snacks?
he is.
Oh,
let's talk about that later. But the whole thing with Skittles are you have they actually taste different. Where
True.
the M&Ms.
yeah. So what you're saying is you're really weird.
Right to jail, right away.
I appreciate it though.
No, M&Ms. My wife mixes M&Ms, peanut or regular,
Okay.
in with popcorn.
Yep.
Delicious snack.
Yeah.
Love it.
Delicious snack.
Love it. Only problem is that they just fall to the bottom, so you're constantly having to dredge which is the appropriate term.
A double bowl. There's M&Ms here, popcorn here. You scoop.
Oh,
you pop.
she's smarter. I tried dumping them in, and
Totally
then I'm
doing it wrong.
and then I'm fighting to not have a kernel in my M&M.
I've had it in like Chex Mix too. You put the M&Ms in the Chex Mix, which is also
Yeah, trail mix.
Yes,
Yeah.
trail mix.
Best part of a trail
Very
mix.
versatile candy.
it gets around.
Trail mix is underrated
Yeah.
in terms of just snack. I'll go high.
Won't disagree.
I got
with
one
that.
the other day though that had
but it's nothing.
corn
with
nuts in
M&M.
it.
Oh, what?
Holy moly, that was jarring and unpleasant.
Wrong flavor or wrong
Punch in the
texture.
The
face.
texture,
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
weird. Super weird.
Yeah.
I would argue
do
that
it.
M&Ms are the
don't
best
recommend.
part of trail mixes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I would agree.
Everything else is
Sushi.
just addition to the M&M.
Toast.
Okay. Moving on from
Cocaine?
from you idiots.
Are we
I've
back?
got-
Where's
okay,
the Pixie
so-
Sticks?
This is the problem with having gone first. I have to pick my final two selections.
Yeah, that sucks.
And man, I first I'm gonna go on the board. I am going to go with gummies.
I don't know you guys at all.
What type of gummies?
So
THC.
That's what I thought he was going with.
no, that shit freaks me out. The Sour Patch Kid is the ultimate of the gummy. However, I love all gummies, and I think in phases of my life, I have went more often to the gummy than I have to the chocolate. A couple years ago, I kind of went back into the chocolate realm, and I'm finding myself back in love with the gummies again. I like just a standard gummy worm, which I believe is superior to the gummy bear. I think the gummy worm is superior to the gummy bear.
Gummy bears are too chewy.
Too chewy.
They're tough.
Yeah.
A little tough. And the gummy worm, you got an option. You can get it in there and go all on
You
it.
could suck on it a bit.
I was gonna. Okay, so if you want to unwind the gears a little bit, what was gonna come out of my mouth was you can get it in there and suck on it, and then I stopped saying you can get it in there and suck on it, and chose to just not have
Just
words.
say you can get it in there.
You can get it in there.
Get it in there. Let it wiggle around.
But you can do the bite and pull. You can go all in. You can team them up together. Oftentimes, they're multiple flavors. I don't know why you. Let's move on from things that are phallic, I guess.
I've always found it aesthetically pleasing when you bite the gummy worm and then they have that sheen
Oh,
Yes.
where you bite them.
Yeah. Teeth mark a little bit.
Yeah.
My son
Just a little
loves
teeth.
Peachios, so I eat a lot of Peachios now.
Just a decent.
Yeah, it's
Apple-O's are better.
Apples are good, yeah. But I would say in terms of the gummies, it's just versatile category. There's a lot. Those are peach flavored Sour Patch Kids, specifically purchased for my son Maverick because he's obsessed with Peachios.
That's like buying a bag of Skittles that's only red.
I would go only orange if I was going to do Skittles. Okay, and then
So did you go Sour Patch or did you go with gummy worms?
okay.
He went gummies.
So
Well, the Sour Patch
the
Kids
Sour
are
Patch,
in the gummy category.
I am going to. If I know where you're going with this. Sour Patch Kid is my selection as the best of the gummies, so that would be my selection. If you were to do gummy worms, I would accept that later on.
Regular or sour gummy worms.
Personally, regular, but the
Curious.
sours are good. Well, so I like the Sour Patch Kid if I'm going sour. If I'm going worm, I'm going because the regular worms are bigger too. And I like that. You can kind of twirl them around a little bit.
In your mouth.
I'm not marrying them like Bill. Not a savage. I am whipping them around like a whip. And then for my off-the-board selection, I mean, I had many things I wanted to do here, and I'll converse about them later on. But I have to go with English toffee.
Ooh.
Just straight up Heath Bar English toffee.
Just get that stuck up all in your teeth.
It is my favorite.
Peanuts?
Can go with peanuts, can go without. I will say this.
Oh, wait, what am I thinking? Brittle.
Peanut brittle.
Peanut brittle
Yep.
is very similar. However, English toffee is a little bit different. There's more of a butter flavor to it, I think, than the peanut brittle.
That was a really good choice.
So we just were at a candy shop, and I've since been back to that candy shop a couple times. You want to talk about the fattest things I've ever done?
What candy shop?
Fancy Pants.
Fancy Pants Chocolate right here in town. I've made a loop. I went back to a candy shop, but I've been getting it for gifts for Callie for like Christmas and for her birthday and stuff. Just a little bouquet. Every time the first thing I say is, all right, get a handful of those English toffees right there. That's the one. That is the chocolate that I prefer above all else. So for me, you could say Heath Bar. I believe is it a Fifth Avenue or what's the other one that's adjacent to it?
I always go to
The
Heath.
10,000 grand, the 10 grand bar.
No, the 10. I don't think you know what a 10 grand bar is.
Yeah, it's got like
No.
Well, are you
got
thinking
caramel in
Are you
it.
thinking of
It
the
has
100
caramel.
grand?
The 100 grand.
100 grand.
He's thinking 100 grand. First
That's
of all,
what I'm thinking of,
doesn't
yeah.
know what it is. Second
Right.
of all, doesn't know what it's called.
What a stupid bitch!
It's the one I don't buy anymore because it messes up my teeth.
You don't know what it is.
Because every time you buy it, you're like, gosh.
This isn't a Skittle.
Yeah.
I feel like I got ripped off. This thing isn't 100 grand. It's only 10 grand.
Yeah.
So anyways,
$10 at best.
the Heath is the standard category, but I would say if I go into a chocolate shop, it is that English toffee. It is delicious. It is my ultimate favorite candy. End of my list. So to recap for everyone, since I'm now done, I am Reese's, I am Gummies, and I specifically Sour Patch Kids, and I am the English toffee. Bill has Twizzlers and M&Ms. Scott has Snickers / Nougat and Skittles, and Gabe has Big League Chew and Pixie Sticks, which a lot of fucking.
He's going to go off the board and pick like sunflower seeds.
So let's see here.
So, Bill, for your selections that you could still have, chocolate bars, hard candies, suckers, Starburst / taffy, and or that's it.
Or off the board.
Or off the board.
Hard candy
Or off the board.
would be.
That would be the Werther's.
That would be your Werther's originals.
That's my Werther's original. Hey, I love those.
They're
and
great.
the butterscotch and the Werther's originals, and that was the Brock's.
Yep, Brock's.
They were individually wrapped.
Yeah.
Jolly Ranchers, not so much. I'm not. It's too sour.
Yeah, since they discontinued Zima, I haven't had a purpose.
It's too spicy. But like the Werther's. Oh man, the buttery. That's
almost toffee.
Yeah.
Almost toffee.
It is almost English toffee.
It is almost, but it's individually wrapped.
Are you going with the hard
I'm going with hard candy. Yeah.
Hard candy is Bill's
Because,
selection.
I'm older than you all, so it would make sense that I go right to the grandpa candy.
I have Werther's originals in my house next to my TV right now.
They're so perfect for just sitting around. Yeah.
So if you say you don't like Jolly Ranchers.
No. I mean, I don't openly. If they're around, I'll eat them. But I'll go for the Werther's before I go for the Jolly Ranchers. They're too, especially the green apple ones, are too sour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say this about the Jolly Rancher. The original, at least original as far as I remember, the stick. Do you remember when they used to come in where they just like globbed it on a sheet and were like, call it a day, it's candy.
Like the size of a Laffy Taffy.
Yeah. Impossible to eat.
Yep.
Those were awful. And I'm glad that they went to a more
They'd get all
consumable.
sharp and cut your gums. Yeah.
So you had to make a decision. Am I sticking this thing out of my mouth? I'm trying not to get
Or
back.
am I going to choke to death?
do I bite it? What do I do with this thing? The little Jolly Ranchers now are a better decision. The weird one is when they were in the package and they were individually wrapped in they came in a sleeve, and then it was a cube, which was the best shape that they had come out with.
Yeah.
But then there was a lot of work. Like you had a package and another package.
And
It was
plus
like a cough drop.
the plastic
Oh, yeah.
would always
Yeah.
stick.
That's
it would always
yes.
you'd be like trying to like peel it off, and it would be now it's on there, and then you
Now I just need to.
I just got to pop it in my mouth.
That was
Yeah.
that is the worst thing about Jolly
Terrible.
Ranchers. I will say that is the worst thing about Jolly
Yeah.
Ranchers. Never happens with the Werther's. Never.
No,
never
never.
happened ever.
Nope.
Okay, I like that. That's a great. Actually, Werther's originals, again, right there with the toffee. You say butterscotch. I was amazed that they use actual butter in butterscotch.
Yeah.
A lot of it too.
Oh yeah.
It is like
I'm not surprised to learn that.
that it's really of all things. Well, there's no scotch in there, so like I guess to me,
what?
I could cook it out.
yeah. But so I get that in caramels and stuff, there's butter in there, but the main flavor in the butterscotch is the butter.
It really
Yeah.
is. And
weird to me.
that's
I would
we
have
had
thought it'd be
those.
margarine.
Yeah, well. All right, moving on to Scott, so we just get done with him.
Next
Scott,
thing
Scott, you've got nougat and Skittles. What are you going with now?
I'm actually kind of mad at the selections left on the board.
Okay.
Suckers, not really for me, but all chocolate bars are still able to be
Yeah.
picked. And Starbursts
Yeah.
are some of my favorite candies.
/ taffy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Skittles, loves Starbursts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to go off the board.
Okay.
I'm going to have to go off the board. And this is a candy that nobody even knows exists.
Oh God, here we go.
And you know exactly what it is. And it's the Chico Stick.
Oh, yeah.
The what?
I almost put it on there just to ruin a pick for you. Just like, oh, this one's going with Almond Joys, and this one's going with Pixie Sticks. Or I'm sorry, with Chico Sticks.
Who told you?
You at least didn't do the Almond Joy. Of course you did the Chico Stick.
Yeah, it's great.
It is
We've talked about it a bunch of times.
Yeah, it is delicious.
It's like a Butterfinger without chocolate.
Oh,
Little coconut.
Yeah, little
Which
coconut.
I hate. I hate coconut. I shouldn't say hate, but I don't really like coconut. But the tiny bit on this candy works out very well. It's just crunchy, peanut buttery kind of thing. I don't know. Dad used to get them all the time when we were kids.
It's really good.
So it's definitely a nostalgia thing, but they're great. I got, you can get little ones, little packaged ones on Amazon.
Yep.
And I got those and brought them into the previous restaurant I worked at, and they did not last very long. Everybody loves them.
It's a very consumable product.
It's crunchy, but it's chewy.
Yep.
A little salty, a little sweet. It's a great candy.
The smaller version, again, much like a Jolly Rancher, better decision. Because the problem with the big one is that you'd bite it and then it crumbles.
Just crumbles
and you got
everywhere.
all over it. Same thing with the Butterfinger. Like me a Butterfinger.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can't pop, the Butterfinger BB needs to come back. The Butterfinger
yeah.
BB was
Yeah.
the greatest invention of all time. Just put it, just pop it in your mouth.
Yeah.
I don't need to be biting it and getting chocolate on my pants.
Oh, the Butterfinger just crumbles everywhere. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
end up-
and glues your mouth together.
right?
Yes, sir. So Scott with the Chico Stick, not a surprise. Zero surprise there. And you got a good selection here. You got the nougat and the peanuts in the Snickers. You got your Skittles and then Chico Stick, quite the combination. Gabe, to finish off the draft, what do we got going here? You have the options of Suckers, Taffy, I think that's it, and chocolate bars.
Chocolate bars, yeah.
But are you or off the board?
Well, yeah, you picked Redvine out the
And
gate.
Tootsie Fruities would fall under Taffy and Starburst, right? 1 cent each.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's a
Yeah,
taffy.
Tootsie Rolls.
So I've got the kids chewing tobacco. I've got the kids cocaine.
Yep.
I'm going with candy cigs.
Gabe going with the Vice Pack.
We got those for Christmas. Or I had anyways. Did anybody else?
Oh, my
I
God.
don't think so.
I think I got candy cigarettes with my robe.
Smoking robe.
I hadn't had one in, probably 30 years.
Oh, that's amazing.
Gross.
Gabe, talk to me about the candy cigarette.
Candy
Candy
cigarette.
cigs. I grew up in a smoking household, and both my parents still
Okay.
smoke to this day.
Okay.
Loved me a candy cig. And I smoked cigarettes for 20 years. I really don't anymore, but man, there's nothing cooler than smoking a cig. It makes you look so cool. Even if you're a 6-year-old, you look badass.
I will say that one of the smartest things they did was remove cigarettes from movies because I can still picture many people that looked really fucking cool smoking a cigarette. And I don't think my kids will have that connection that I did, where it was like you remember John Travolta with like the like finger, like he'd like swoop past with the one finger and then curl with the other, and then just rip
I mean,
that
that's
thing
not
out
how it was done?
No. I don't know. Go back to our conversation about John Travolta being a little fucking much. Like, the him pulling a cigarette was like, oh, that's how we smoke cigarettes evidently. It was a very smart move to remove them from TV.
Now it's a warning. You start the movie and up in the corner, like on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Careful, there's smoking cigarettes in this movie.
consuming beverages. But taste wise,
I never ate them.
oh,
I think they were like chalk sticks with dipped in red.
Yeah. Just one end up.
There's a little bit of mint flavor to it.
Yeah, they were like the fun dip stick.
We
but
want to
way
make sure,
worse.
not just hook you on smoking, but hook you on smoking menthols.
Yeah.
We'll put some mint on those.
It is funny that you can still get the candy cigar, which is the gum cigar.
Yeah.
Because people still give those out when kids are birthed. You know, when you have a child born, you hand out the gum
Used to
cigars
hand
or
out
something.
cigars. Used
Yeah.
to hand out cigars. And
So they still make those because evidently that's fine. Kids aren't into the cigars, which I think for a kid,
They should.
yeah, you'd think a kid would want a Groucho Marx a little bit. You got to get the Groucho Marx things needs to come back.
My 7-year-old watched The Last Dance with me.
Okay.
He thought Michael Jordan was badass walking into that hotel, not asking any questions,
No.
walking into the hotel, smoking his stogie. Like, can you do that? I'm like, Michael Jordan can.
That's an interesting point.
But you
because
probably could in 97.
Well, but you still see it is still allowed at the sporting events when you win something big, you get that stogie and you lean back. There's a lot of Joey Burrows of the world doing that.
Yeah.
I just saw Brock Purdy. There was a picture of him having won like the Fiesta Bowl or some shit, and he's smoking a cigar. Let's go into college football for a second. Champions of a Fiesta Bowl is not a fucking thing.
No.
Don't
No.
make the
No.
shirt. That
You win the
says-
flat tire bowl, you didn't win any.
It's not a championship. Well, maybe you won the game, but don't put champions on there. There was only two of you.
yeah.
You know, you got better than.
Unless you were
You beat
unless
Nebraska
you were
State.
unless you were Michigan or Washington this year, you're not a champion of
Correct.
anything.
Zero champion.
That's not a thing.
But the candy cigar, it's weird that's
If we had
allowed.
4 picks, that was my next pick.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like it. So
You're gonna pick cigarettes and cigars.
Can't go off the board twice.
I'm surprised that you didn't find like a candy spoon with a syringe. But what do I know?
Oh, there probably exists. Yeah, bottle caps was my backup.
Wait, I think they do exist. It's just that like gel stuff.
Yeah. Little tube gel.
Yeah, I think they do exist.
Okay, so let's wrap this whole baby up.
You go.
Gabe went with the straight Vice pack, the chew. Two kinds of fake tobacco, which I appreciate, and then Pixie Sticks, which is it's a pick. You did that. Scotty with the nougat / Snickers, Skittles, Chico stick. Bill with the Twizzlers, M&Ms, and hard candy.
Werthers.
And then myself with the Reese's, specifically the egg, the gummies, and then I wrote Candy Cigs under mine, not Gabe's.
Jelly.
And then the English toffee. The 2 items that did not get picked, or the 3 items that did not get picked: taffy, chocolate bars, and the blow pops / Tootsie Pop. Let's talk about those real quick.
I can't believe chocolate bar didn't go.
The basic chocolate bar. It's too basic.
I don't know,
But I mean,
So
like
good.
Butterfingers in that.
Yeah.
Like the Ghirardelli caramels.
Right.
Twix, Kit Kat. You want to get into the crazy stuff? Whatchamacallit.
Right.
So versatile.
Caramellos.
Just a
Caramellos
Hershey's
are so
Kiss.
good. Yeah, Hershey Kiss is good. I will say, the Hershey's chocolate bar is okay. It's kind of waxy a little bit, but you throw in the peanuts and you make it a Mr. Good bar.
or a crackle. Throw in the rice.
The crackle.
Crackle's pretty
Yeah,
I like
Crunch
crackle.
Bar.
Yeah, Crunch Bar's pretty good.
Or just put it on a graham cracker.
Put it on a graham-
marshmallow.
Or
You
just on a graham
can't
cracker,
make
get the marshmallow out of there.
s'mores without a chocolate bar.
So that is a little weird. You are correct. I will say this: England's doing it right. England has the Cadbury Milk Bar, which is just a delicious chocolate bar, and so they're over there all the time rocking Cadbury. We're only with the eggs, which are a bit much. In terms of candy, the Cadbury egg is a bit much.
Yeah.
I was committed long before we started this to the Vice pack. I was really relieved to hear I only had to have 3. But I probably would have drafted the 3 that are left on the board, to be honest.
They're great because
They're all good.
yeah, I will say honestly, in front of me more often than not are the suckers, which specifically the Tootsie Pops are always available, and I will pop a Tootsie Pop all the time. Delicious. And then the taffy. You go Laffy Taffy, and I'm on board.
All right.
I wanted to ask, you got your Airheads, which is also in the taffy category. Airheads or Laffy Taffy?
I like the Laffy Taffy, but what I really like is the real saltwater
Okay.
taffy. The
Yeah.
real
Saltwater
deal.
taffy,
The saltwater taffy from New Jersey
Ah.
is there. I got a whole box of it as a gift.
Okay.
Oh my God. It was hard not to plow through that whole thing. It was so good. Real deal.
Supposedly the name saltwater taffy is because one day a dude on the boardwalk left his windows open or something, and the salt water got into the taffy.
it. And it actually changed the way it tasted, and they liked it.
It's so
Whatever.
weird. I was going to say I wanted to figure out what the difference between hard candy and taffy was, because in terms of the way they're made, it's almost identical.
Very similar.
You boil your sugar substance and then you pour it out, and then there's actually the stretching that happens to get the air in there. So I was like, well, what's the difference? It's got to be the makeup. There's a little difference in the sugar. Your hard candy is like 99% sugar, which is crazy. Like 99%. And then the only real difference besides that, 95% sugar to 99% sugar, is that you have to hit a high enough temperature on the hard candy.
Right.
I think it was 320 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the main difference. That makes it so that
Like it's like
It
rock,
makes it hard.
rock candy
hard, yep.
temperature or something. We have a candy thermometer in my house.
Oh,
I've
yes.
never used it.
Yeah, we
but-
have one.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I love that process. And the other thing I found crazy. So let's go into the blow pop / Tootsie Pop, which is basically a hard candy.
Last night when you proved that suckers are also caramel,
Yes,
you proved it with the caramel apple
which are delicious.
lollipop
Suckers
or
are
sucker.
what?
Oh man,
Yeah,
all-time
I
great
missed
piece of
something
candy
here.
right there.
you've never
Just
had
the
caramel apple
caramel, just
sucker.
the caramel permeates the entire thing.
Caramel is everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, oh, it's so good. So
There's a reason for that.
in my watching of all these candies being made, your blow pop or your Tootsie Pop is the same thing as how they make hard candy, where they make that giant 80-pound chunk of it, and then they put it on the roller and they make it into a big long tube, and then they just pull and push it until it gets into a smaller tube. I was amazed to find out that the way they get the chocolate in the middle or the bubble gum in the middle is when they're making that long tube, that's when the gum is inserted. So it's a long rope with it in the center,
I just pinch it off.
and then they just pinch it off and
Snip.
so they're really just hard candies with, instead of, because the same way remember those strawberry ones?
Yeah.
Which they call bonbons, by the way. I didn't know that. It's called a bonbon. It doesn't feel like a
That's
bonbon
like
to me.
the ones that are, or wait, no, I'm thinking of the watermelon ones.
Similar thing, but
the
the packaging
individual-
looks like a strawberry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a little bit of goo on the inside.
That was potentially going to be my off the board pick.
Yeah. Yeah. That is the same way they do that, is they inject that goo into the long strand, and then the thing that cuts it just stamps out the shape. I was fascinated by it. I never would have thought that that's how that's made.
I always thought it was made hollow and then injected. That's what I always thought.
Yeah.
Which would have been extremely labor intense. You think about, wow, no wonder they're so expensive.
Yeah, almost impossible. So that was, I found really interesting. The other thing I found really interesting about Dum Dum Suckers, what flavor do you think the mystery flavor is of a Dum Dum Sucker? So you've all had them. They come with the wrapper.
Pineapple.
Okay. What flavor?
I don't recall.
Modern banana.
Yeah, it's never right.
Not that banana that your grandparents used to have.
No, that's a different banana.
Glacier Gatorade.
The mystery Dum Dum Sucker is the end of one batch and the beginning of the next batch. Instead of throwing away the overlap, they just take,
Brilliant.
They take that chunk and they just throw a white wrapper that says mystery on it. So it literally is mystery.
Yeah,
You're
you
getting
don't know
two
which
random
batch.
flavors.
It's two of whatever
Smart.
was next on the line.
Super smart.
Instead of cleaning out the machine completely, screw it. Let's just
Why clean it?
Capitalism always
let
wins.
it go.
Yeah. Yeah, wait, throw away this sugar. It goes just fine with this other sugar.
We'll just call it mystery.
Yeah. What is it? I don't know.
I thought that was awesome because I've always tried to, you'd pop one in and be like, I wonder what this is. And then it's like, well, that doesn't taste like the last time I had it. And then even with that, you get some weird combinations and too. I thought that was crazy. I had no idea that that's what they did.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're learning interesting things here on the candy episode. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for the candy draft. Everyone satisfied? Gabe, are you happy over there?
It couldn't be more. This is exactly how I envisioned the draft going. That's why I didn't want the first pick, because if I went gum first overall,
Yeah.
it would have just been bad.
I thought about it because I was like, it's not coming back to me, and I really wanted gum. I thought that was a fun one. Scott.
I got my 3 favorite candies.
Okay.
The only one I missed on would be a Starburst.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill?
I don't know. Next round would have been Almond Joy or Mounds.
Yeah,
so
for
it's
sure.
a good thing we stopped when we did.
Stop while we're ahead.
And I'm right there as well. I think chocolate bar was really hard to pass up. Maybe potentially a number 1 overall, potentially, or the nougat. But Reese's is just the answer when you're stuck with that first pick because you have to. But I will.
Twix though. Twix is really fucking good.
Twix are so much better than they should be. Like it's such a simple candy. I think that people like Kit Kats more than they should. They're good.
Yeah.
But it's like in Canada, it's like the number 1 chocolate bar.
Yeah,
Like,
that's because it's
It always
Canada.
does well in those head-to-head tests, though.
It's
when you get the
top
brackets,
3. Yep, it's top 3. You've got your Snickers, your Reese's, and your Kit Kat. 2 of those are vastly superior to the third one.
I would put the Twix third, yeah.
I would put Twix is that's exactly how I feel. I think the Twix is greatly underrated. The original peanut butter Twix is so fucking good, and you can't find it anywhere. Now they just have the dark chocolate version.
You should try Ace Hardware.
Do they have it?
That's the only place I can get a Chico stick. The only place in town. I went on a journey to find a Chico stick a couple of years ago.
And it's the same ones that Dad was buying in 1987.
Actually, I think they're even bigger now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for going through that with us. Next week, I think we're on to 1999, are we not? Am I wrong about that? Or are we going to do, I don't know what we're going to do. We may have 1999. We may take another week off and then go into 1999.
I'll try again to watch the Van Damme cowboy movie. It's tough.
Yeah. Oh, you got into it and couldn't do
I
it?
couldn't. I'll try again.
Couldn't do it.
It's a Van Damme movie,
Yeah.
but he plays like a cowboy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense.
I think that's tough. Cowboy with a super thick accent, kind of
Yeah.
tough to do.
And roundhouse
spaghetti
kicks
westerns.
in cowboy boots would be tough, too.
Well, but did you get the Chuck Norris action pants? Which I need to get me some Chuck Norris action pants.
Are they stretchy?
Yeah. So
It's
right
just
now,
so you can walk up the stairs.
right now, the jeans I'm wearing, greatest thing that's ever happened in men's clothing is all of a sudden they're like, women have been wearing these stretchy denims forever.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Callie comes home with this pair of pants, and I was like, oh, you can do freaking jumping jacks in these things. These things are great. These things are amazing. A little bit of elastic to them.
Your balls are showing.
But Chuck Norris has been doing that since the 80s, maybe the 70s. The Chuck Norris action pants. Somebody has a pair. Someone send me a pair of the Chuck Norris action pants. I want to see if I can't get a roundhouse kick.
I'm not one to say anything, but when you start looking at your pants as in are they stretchy enough, now's the time to rethink your list of candies. And
Bill, I was a product of the 90s. Our pants were so fucking huge. You could do whatever you wanted in them. Then all of a sudden people were
But
like, no,
only
you can't.
inside of them, you couldn't move the pants because
No.
they weighed 100 pounds.
Yeah, you were shuffling your
Have a
feet.
slumber party
the
in there.
wind came up and blew him away.
That's where we played GoldenEye in my pants.
Somewhere in the 2000s, they made me wear tight pants, and then someone liberated me with elastic. So Bill, fuck right off. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week with something. I don't know what. This guy won't be here.
Yeah.
Fired. Thank Christ. Bill, one more time for the people. Give us a fuck. Fuck. That's right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're done. Pretty good though. I don't. I think I kind of like that the chocolate bar got left off. I think part of it is what we called it, the chocolate bar.
Right.
Like if we would have picked a specific chocolate bar,
Yeah.
I think
Hershey's bars are boring by themselves.
it's super.
They're
boring.
basic, super basic,
boring.
and you know when you look at the list, this is not a basic list.
No.
This is a list of good things.
Good things.
highly curated.
Highly.
With the chocolate, what's better? What's better with the chocolate, almond or peanuts?
Peanut.
Peanut.
Plain.
Just a bag of
do it.
chocolate covered peanuts.
Yeah.
A bag of chocolate covered peanuts.
Call them peanut M&Ms. Delicious.
Yeah.
I know. We could call it peanut M&Ms.
Yeah. I love peanuts and chocolate. I love it. But if you give me even a Hershey's Kiss with an almond in it, I'm there. I don't think they make a Hershey's Kiss with a peanut in it.
No, they do the almond. They
do
have
the
the
almond.
almond,
I don't
but not
think they do the
not
peanut.
the peanut. No.
Interesting.
That is very interesting.
That's the first time I've ever had that thought.
I've got $1 million idea.
I've never, ever had that thought.
Ugh, you're the worst kind of autistic.